So what we're going to do is we're going to start graphing. Okay. And we're going to graph using a grid like this. What you see here, we're going to graph real life situations. We're going to have to read information from graphs. That's what we're going to do for the rest of this unit. Before we start, and this should be reviewed, I hope, is how do you plot points on a coordinate grid? How do you read points on a coordinate grid? Okay. So this is what we call coordinate grid, the whole thing. And there are certain names that we use when we talk about the coordinate grid. Okay. We use this to graph lines or graph curves or graph points, which has a lot of use in everyday life. Okay, I mean, like in business, you've got to be able to read graphs. You've got to be able to understand them. Okay, otherwise you're going to have a tough time. So the whole thing's called a coordinate grid. There's two lines that split the coordinate grid into four sections. These two lines are called axes. Okay? The horizontal one is called the x-axis. The vertical one is called the y-axis. And the point where they meet is called the origin. That is our reference point. That's the point we use whenever we want to graph lines or points or curves. And this origin has a value of 0, 0. What that means is we haven't moved anywhere on the x-axis, so 0 for x. We haven't moved anywhere on the y-axis, so 0 for y. When we draw those two axes, like I said, we split up the coordinate grid into four sections, but we call them quadrants. Okay? And we start with the upper right and call it quadrant 1, and then we go counterclockwise. So this upper right one is quadrant 1. Then I go counterclockwise to quadrant 2, then down to quadrant 3, and then over to quadrant 4. We'll talk more about quadrants in later math courses, but I did want to introduce it to you now. So now that you have an idea of that, let's plot some points. And what I'm going to do to save myself a little time so I don't have to write the numbers at each point, I'm just going to call them all capital letters. So this thing, when we have two numbers separated by a comma in parentheses, we can call it a few things. We can call it a point or coordinate. So we can plot points or we can plot coordinates. It means the same thing. So how do we plot a coordinate? Well, we start at 0, 0. The first number in the point or coordinate tells me how much I move to the right on the x-axis. This tells me I have to move positive 2, which means I have to go to the right. So I'm here right now. But then I have to move positive 3 on the y, which means I have to go up 3. And that is the point 2, 3. And we call it point A. So remember, positive for the first number means you move right, negative means you move left. 0 means you don't move at all. For the second number, positive means you move up, negative means you move down, 0 means you don't move at all. So let's try the second one. Start at my reference point. Where do I go first? 3 to the left, and then 1 up. So I'm here. That's B. Start again.
3 to the left,
2 to the left,
and then you go 4 down.
4 down. That's here. Next, D.
5 to the right, then you go up 1.
Up 1,
Or, oh, you go down 1.
down. Right. E.
You just go 3 to the right.
3 to the right, and then I don't move up or down. So that's point E. And finally, point F. I just go down 4 because I don't move to the right or left at all. I just go down 4. See if you remember your quadrants. Which point is in quadrant 2? B. Because remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. What point is in quadrant D? Quadrant 4. D. Okay. So that's one thing we can do. You're given the points or coordinates and you have to plot them or graph them. The other thing we could be asked to do, like in example 2, is we're given the points. We have to write their coordinates. So how do we do this? Well, let's look at point A. I have to move 4 to the right and then
2 up.
2 up. So for point A, I have to move 4 to the right, so it's positive 4. I have to move 2 up, so it's positive 2. See if you can do the rest. What did we get for B? C. D. E. 1. And 10. 5, almost 0.